All right, old girl. Are we having a good day today? I figured that. A little cold.
Right there, huh? So here today at the Big Iron Show in Fargo, North Dakota. And Go Serve Global, we do domestic and international disaster work. It's a faith-based organization. But in the background, you can probably hear a tractor, and it's actually a very significant tractor to agriculture. It's actually the very first Steiger tractor ever made by three brothers here in the Fargo area. So we're here again at the Big Iron Show, and Jonathan, correct?
Correct.
Jonathan's sitting on the first Steiger ever made. You want to just kind of share with us some of the stats with this tractor and history?
Well, this tractor was never built to be sold. The family built it because John was the father, Douglass and Maurice were the two sons, and they were farming up in northern Minnesota, and the two sons had a dirt moving business to supplement farm income. And John, the father, was doing most of the farming, and they wanted to come up with a way where John could do more of the work so the boys would be available to go out and wrestle in some more income. So in the fall of '57, they went looking to buy a four-wheel drive tractor, but the only thing on the market at that time was a Wagner built. They looked at one, tried to buy one, and told Wagner if they would sell them a tractor, they would become a dealer. Wagner declined. So after looking at the Wagner, they talked amongst themselves and they said, you know, that tractor wasn't anything all that special. We can build one. So they went home, mulled it over, went to their banker and said, you know, we need more power. If you'll loan us $10,000, we'll build a tractor. And the banker kind of talked to him a little bit. Finally, he said, yep, do it. So they started that fall, and by the spring of '58, they rolled it out of the shop. And they used it for about 10,000 hours on the farm. And it really helped them. They had to make bigger implements to go behind it. They never anticipated it to be this size. It kind of grew as they were building it. It just barely fit out of the shop when they were done with it. So, and they farmed with it for many, many years, and then it was never built to be sold. Well, then the neighbors saw it. Hey, that works good. Can you build us another one? Well, then they started building these smaller ones, and it just led to the Steiger Tractor Company that evolved to today, and then up until Case IH Tenneco bought them out. And that's how the Steiger Tractor Company came to be. And this tractor was actually abandoned. The engine gave out. I talked to one of the grandsons of John. They parked it back in the trees behind the shop, stole the tires off, took some parts off it. And then in the early '70s, they decided, you know what? We got to save this tractor. This is a very unique, one of a kind. So they drug it up. The grandson told me they patched the engine together, threw some tires on, and went back to, if you notice, there's no steering wheel. You steer with a lever called, well, tiller steering. And this is the way it originally rolled out of the shop in '58 when they built it. And he told me that after about a year, they changed it to the orbital steering with a steering wheel. And they had robbed that off when it was parked in the trees, and when they put it back into running condition, they decided to go back to the original design as to how it was when it came out of the shop in '58. So what you see is it was redone and painted in the early '70s, and it hasn't been touched since, so other than the engine being overhauled.
It's original engine block.
The engine, from what you see on the outside, is all original. In our research, we found out that it's a 671 Detroit diesel. Within our research, we found out that by the serial number on the block, it's an extremely early 671, one of the first year or two of production. So our goal was to save it. But when we tore into it, everything inside was absolutely wore out. He wasn't kidding when he said they patched it. So we were fortunate enough to do some looking. We found a couple of donor engines, and between those two engines, we saved the block, we saved the head, the blower, everything, as I said, you see on the outside is the way it was. All the internals were replaced. The crankshaft was wore out, the connecting rods were shot, the camshaft was wearing out, all the timing gears were just beat up, chunks missing. But now it's put back. It'll run a long time now. We rebuilt everything we could get parts for, and it was all funded by donations and fundraising. And a good friend of mine and the neighbor who's farming, we took it to his shop. He had diesel mechanic training and everything, and we're the ones that, he and I and another fellow, we're the ones that did it.
So how many horsepower does it have?
Well, it's a little over 200, 210, 220, somewhere's in there. They have the biggest injectors in there you can possibly put in. So they were going for maximum horsepower when they built it. So, and it's all, they fabricated everything. At the time they built it, they just had a plan, and they needed more power, and this is what they came up with. And they continued to farm with it for many, many years.
So if somebody wanted to come see this tractor in person, where would they see it at?
It's at Bonanzaville in West Fargo all the time. And the village is open. It's stored in a building over there. All four of Steigers are at Bonanzaville. They belong to Bonanzaville. That's where they are. They're all the time. They can come into the Bonanzaville here, and they can see them anytime.
Right. Well, thank you very much. That's a very fascinating history. I'll
thank you.
just kind of walk around the tractor a little bit so people can see it.
I can start it up again if you want.
Sure.
If you want to start it. Now it'll start. No key, no switches, just crude made push buttons is all it is. Nothing fancy.
So where's the hydraulic pump on this thing?
The belt driven off the front. There's two pumps.
Okay.
One's for the steering alone, and one is for the remotes.
Oh, yeah, I see him down there.
Well, I've been
over here.
With
We
a high
have
and
number
low.
4. This one says Steiger number 4, a little smaller, but this is the 4th one ever made.
I can't find the last two.
So
It's the weirdest shift pattern I've ever seen in my life. I can find one before in reverse.
So we've got the first one there, second one there, and then that's a Steiger Tiger up there. And then this one says it is the original prototype for the Cougar. So Go Serves here, just showing our story, and we ended up we're just over there on the other side of the tractor. So I thought some of you might enjoy a little history from the Steiger tractor. So there you go. You can come see him here in West Fargo, and look up Go Serve Global on the website too.